Hey guys, it's Katie. Welcome back to my channel. I am so glad that you're here. Today's video is one that I've seen a lot of people do, but I saw Sarah Caroli do it earlier this year. It's where you go on Goodreads and you pick your highest rated book and your lowest rated book on your TBR, and then you read them in a video and kind of see if you agree or not, see if you would rate the lowest one higher than the higher one, all of that kind of stuff. So I thought it'd be a fun video to do, especially because this month, whenever I did my TBR jar video, I actually got the two prompts, which are the highest rated book on my Goodreads and the lowest rated book on my Goodreads. And I just really want to finish my TBR for the month, point blank period. I feel like I just never do it, and I want to be able to say that I've at least done it once. Also with this video, some people do the lowest and the highest rated books from their entire TBR, or they just do it from their monthly TBR. Technically, I'm actually doing both because the reason why I picked those books and they're on my TBR is because I got those specific prompts. So let's go ahead and go through the 5 books left on my physical TBR. I feel like I can actually finish it this month because it's only March 13th. So we have like, I'm not gonna try and do math, a little over half a month left to finish 5 books. I feel like I can definitely do that. Okay, let's go ahead and go through the books really quick. The first book is Everything I Know About Love by Dolly Alderton. On Goodreads, this has an average rating of 4.03 stars. Then we have The Heartbreak House Share by Emily Merrill. The average rating of this one is 3.81 stars. Book Lovers by Emily Henry, which has a rating of 4.14 stars. Queen of Shadows by Sarah J. Maas, which is the 5th book in the Throne of Glass series that I'm currently reading right now, and it has an average rating of 4.60 stars. And then The Storied Life of AJ Fikry by Gabrielle Zevin, and this has an average rating of 4.03 stars. So from all 5 of those books, and then also the rest of my physical TBR, it looks like Queen of Shadows by Sarah J. Maas is the highest rated book on my TBR right now with a 4.60 rating. And then the lowest rated book is The Heartbreak House Share by Emily Merrill with a 3.81 star rating. We're gonna go ahead and start off with The Heartbreak House Share since it's lower. So just in case I don't like it, we're gonna end off with a bang with Queen of Shadows, which I think is fair. This book was actually recommended to me by Rachel Catherine. I saw it in one of her YouTube videos and she was saying how it's so underrated. I think it only has like, yeah, it has 628 ratings on Goodreads, which is incredibly low. And she was saying how she doesn't get why more people haven't read this. So I'm really excited to read this actually, and kind of surprised it's the lowest rated book that I have on my TBR. Just from what I'm getting off the back of the book, it's about our main character Flick, and she's going through heartbreak right now. If you can't tell by the literal title being The Heartbreak House Share. She also shares a house, so yeah, but she ends up having to move into a house share because of the breakup, because her and her ex-boyfriend used to live together, and she's just kind of like in a tough time in her life right now. She's 22 and she's just trying to figure everything out like we all are. So yeah, that's really it. That's all I really know. So let's just go ahead and get into it. It's actually a really nice day outside, so let's go read outside for a bit. Okay, I'm a little over halfway through The Heartbreak House Share by Emily Merrill. And there's an extra little tidbit to the plot that I didn't really know about just from the back. I guess I did read it on the back, I just didn't mention it at all. So our main character Flick is a journalist, and she gets the opportunity to have her own column because she ends up writing a 20s list one day, which is basically like a 20s bucket list of just like things you want to do and accomplish to feel like you're going somewhere, or feel like you are like actually doing stuff that you want to do type thing, and not just living like the same day over and over and over again. And her boss ends up finding that out, and then her boss is like, hey, like you should write a column on that. And there's also like a fake dating thing in there because she went with a guy friend that she had just met. And then her boss was like, oh, so like, are you guys like together, or like what's going on? She was like, no, we're just friends. And her boss was like, you should like capitalize on that. Like you should just like say you're dating. Ooh. Like do it. So Flick did. And honestly, it's just been a lot more women's fiction-y, literary fiction-y than I originally thought. I guess this is more about Flick and her journey, which I really don't mind. I do like whenever romance books are a lot more like that, in honesty. Like a lot of my favorite authors, Ashley Poston, Emily Henry, Abby Jimenez, they all kind of have that similar writing style. So I am enjoying that. I don't know if I feel crazy connected to the couple in this book quite yet. I don't know. I think it's just because we haven't seen much of them at all. I do love her roommates though, her house share mates, I guess you could say. And I'm assuming that the author is like English. So there's like a few things that they say and stuff like that that is just like British slang and like British terms that we don't normally use here in like the US. And so there have been like a few things that I've had to reread because I'm like, wait, did that like sentence like make sense to me at all? But it's honestly not like that crazy of a thing. I also really haven't been like wanting to pick up this book a ton either, which obviously is not like the best sign. Like I'm enjoying it, but it's not like I'm dying to know what happens next. I'm really hoping to finish it today just because it has been taking me a few days to kind of get through it, which is not normally like my reading speed, especially for a smaller book like this that's under like 400 pages. So I don't know. I think I'm enjoying her story, but I just don't think like I'm obsessed with it or to the point where I'm like enjoying it like a ton. I just kind of like it, you know, I just like it. I do get why it's like a 20s thing though. I think that if you personally related to Flick a lot, like you just went through a breakup or you went through something similar to her type of situation, then I think that you would relate to this a lot. I think that this might be the romance book for you. It could also just be that I just don't connect to Flick personally, just because of where I'm at with my life, because we're both in like very different stages of life. So it could also be that, but I do also relate to it because I've had experiences like this. I think it's a good concept though. I have read quite a few books recently with this same concept where they're like journalists and they're trying to capitalize on their romantic relationships. I really enjoyed it in the other books, so I don't know. I just feel like I should be enjoying this more is all. And maybe I'll get there. We'll see. I will definitely be updating you guys throughout the day whenever I try and finish this. I have less than 150 pages left, so definitely doable. Okay, I have about 50 pages left, and you know how I was saying, I was like, I don't really feel that connected to the characters, whatever, like I don't really feel super crazy invested, but I'm enjoying it. It's a lie. I'm low-key kind of invested and I'm kind of here for it. Things just really kind of picked up in the last 50 pages that I read, 50 to 100 pages-ish that I've read, and I've really been enjoying it. There is a little bit of like drama towards the end, as there is in almost every single like romance book, but this is just like a different plot line than I was expecting. I just wasn't expecting this at all. And the guy in this is just like super sweet and I like him a lot. Again, not like crazy in love with this book, but I do think that it's just like a good, well-rounded story about real life experiences, but also just like rom-com-y and fun. And I love her housemates. They're so cute, and their friendships are just so cute too. So let's go ahead and finish it. I have officially finished the Heartbreak house share by Emily Merrill, and it's actually a few days since I finished it just because my thoughts have kind of been a little scatterbrained, to be completely honest. I think I'm kind of working through a little bit of a book slump right now. I'm not really sure what's going on. Even though the books that I'm reading are subjectively really good and possibly really great, and I could possibly love all of them, I came off of two really incredibly amazing books that were super highly rated. One of them a 5-star and then one of them like a really high 4-star. So reading this, which is just like a little bit different than what I have been reading, and knowing that this probably wasn't going to be up to that caliber was just kind of not what I was, I guess, wanting out of it. So I don't really think that I gave this book a true fair shot. I think it's also tough because I don't think that I am the market of people that this book is directed towards. If you're going through a breakup, if you're going through something similar, I think this would be incredible for you, especially if like you're thinking about dating again or just going through big changes in your life. I do think that everybody in their 20s should read this, especially if you're going through a breakup or if you're single or if you're just trying to like romanticize your life a little bit. I think that this is definitely a great read for you. It was coming of age, it was self-discovery, it was really good, and I liked the housemates and I liked all of those things. I I don't know why. For some reason in my mind, I just don't think that I personally connected to these characters a lot. And it makes me like really sad because I did enjoy this book. But it's just not like my favorite. I don't think that this book is like personally like meant for me. Honestly, the guy in the book, I wish that there was just more romance of it, and I wish he was just a bigger part of the story. I think the whole point of him not being a bigger part of the story makes sense though for like where she was going with this book, because obviously she had just gotten out of a breakup and all that kind of stuff. But I don't know, it was just a little slow to start for me, and I just wish there was more romance. But otherwise, it was very cute and fun. I also started our next book, which, as we all know from the beginning of this video, is Queen of Shadows by Sarah J Maas. This will be my 5th book in the Throne of Glass series, and the rating was a 4.60 on Goodreads. So this is the highest book that I currently have on my physical TBR. Like I was just saying about the Heartbreak house share, before that I read 2 really incredible books, and one of those books was from this series, the one right before it, Air of Fire, and I really enjoyed it. It kind of was a turning point for me in that series, just because that's whenever stuff really started to go down, whenever you really get into like the fantasy of it all, if you know what I mean. If you've read it, you know you know. If you haven't, that's not spoiling anything, I pinky promise you. But I am so excited to read this. I actually read about 100-ish pages. Yeah, I'm on page 97, so today I'm going to be doing a lot of reading. I think I'm actually gonna go to Barnes. I'm not going to buy any books, but I'm gonna browse and look around just because I really enjoy doing that. And then I'm gonna sit in the cafe and hopefully be there for a few hours. I just really want to crank through this. And again, I just haven't really been in the mood to read. It's nothing to do with the books that I'm picking, because obviously I'm really excited to read this, and this series is incredible and I love the characters and everything else about it. But sometimes like you're just straight up not in the mood, and that's totally okay. Obviously there's gonna be some times where I read a lot more than others, but I'm just really hoping. What is going on? But I'm just really hoping that this book will kind of take me out of the little slump that I'm having, and going to the Barnes and reading in their cafe will give me like the reading vibes and the atmosphere that I kind of need, because sometimes you just need like a little extra like oomph and push, you know, to get reading. So let's go ahead, go to Barnes, browse around, and continue reading the Throne of Glass series. I was just gonna start getting ready for bed, but I realized that I haven't updated you guys about anything to do with Queen of Shadows since like I started reading it, and I'm pretty sure the last time I checked Goodreads, I'm on page 401, and I think it said that I was like 60-ish% of the way through. Yeah, I'm 61% through, so I felt like we were a little overdue for an update. Obviously there's only so much I can share about this book right now because I don't want this to like spoil anything for you, but wow, there have been at least 2 times in this book where I've almost physically had a heart attack. Yeah, so it's been painful, you know, in a good way. Like everything's been going great for my favorite characters personally. There's also just been some crazy stuff. Like I think that best thing about this series is that you get to see both sides of the story, because there's so many different point of views, because it is in 3rd person. But not only that, is that we're skipping from this person to this person to this person, but it's not in a confusing way. I've read books like this before, and I don't know if it's just because I read it like a long time ago at the beginning of my reading journey, or if it's just because I read that specific book that I'm thinking of as an audiobook. It was an Ellen Hildebrand book. Maybe I just need to pick one up and like read it physically and not do an audiobook, because I'm reading this physically and this isn't confusing at all, and there's so many characters that I'm getting point of views from right now. But there's so many different characters who have so many different motives and are on like different sides of what's going on at the moment. And I love that, because you know what's going on almost everywhere at all times, but then you also don't, and you're also discovering things as characters are discovering them, or the characters have like a plan of some sort and then like they're masterminding it out in front of your face, like, and being like, yeah, I had this planned. And then you're like, what? Like, I've been tabbing this baby a lot too. Oh my gosh. There have just been so many like amazing moments. Like, I dare say this might be the first 5-star of the Throne of Glass series for me. Last one, Air of Fire, was like this close. I almost rated a 5-star, but there was one character that I just wasn't really enjoying as much. But she has grown on me a little bit in this book. So I am liking that a lot. I just really don't know where the second part is going to go, if that makes any sense. Obviously, like, I know of some things that could... What is that? Do you hear that?
Yeah, it's like gutter. It's just like the pipes that's coming down and water falling through it.
Oh, okay. Love that for me. I don't know. There have just been so many shocking and like crazy moments that have just been amazing and wonderful and great. And you know how everybody at like the end of a Sarah J Maas book, they're like, wow, the last 100 pages were insane. I feel like in this series, there has already been like 100 pages. If not 200 pages that have been insane. And I've read 400 pages. So that's half the book. And the rest is just like plot and build up kind of, if that makes any sense. Like to get the story like going along. Also the romance. Or like almost lack thereof. Because there isn't really like crazy amounts of romance or anything like that. But the romance that I'm like hoping for and like seeing in my mind. So excited, literally everything. There is something that is making me really sad though in this book, and one of my favorite characters isn't getting their moment to shine, I guess you could say. And I literally love them so much, and I'm really sad I'm not getting to see more from them, but it's fine. I'm just gonna be heartbroken, and that's the way it is. Hoping that we get more of them later in the book or in the next few books. But I'm gonna go ahead and check in with you guys tomorrow while I keep reading. I have just under 250 pages left. This book has been taking me a while to read just because it is like a lot and there's so much going on. And honestly, I just really haven't been in the mood to read lately. Not anything to do with this book, obviously, because I'm literally loving it so much, but it's getting me excited to read again. And I don't know, I just really hope I'm going to enjoy the rest of it. Finished Queen of Shadows. Where to even begin? I have no words for what I just went through while reading this book. I don't even know how many days it took me. I honestly was kind of like, I guess you could say disappointed in a way with how unquickly I was reading this book, but I think it was just because I didn't want it to end. Like, I really took my time reading this, and I'm so glad that I did. And a lot of the times whenever I'm reading slower, I think it's because like it's a bad book or whatever. This is gold. This is, dare I say, one of the best books I have ever read, and made me feel things that I have never felt while reading before. Literally, I still have a pit in my stomach from reading this book. This book was absolutely insane, and I don't know if I'm ever going to recover from this. The amount of tabs themselves, I literally ran out of the color that I was using. Normally I just use like one color of tabs, but for the rest of the books I'm going to be using several colors like most people do, like for like romance and like action and all of that kind of stuff, because look at the sheer amount of tabs. These ones on the end are lighter, but like, oh my gosh, this was incredible. This was incredible. Okay, it's time for the reading wrap up. I'm actually back in my PJs. It's the same day that I finished Queen of Shadows. Our lower book was The Heartbreak House Share by Emily Merrill, and our higher book was Queen of Shadows by Sarah J Maas. And honestly, I think that these two books are on two totally different playing fields. Like, this book is out of this book's league, therefore they are really not fair to compare in my opinion. Not only are they a different genre, this is a standalone and this is like the 5th book in a fantasy series. Obviously this is going to have a lot more content and backstory and just connection to characters because I've been reading about these characters for such a long time. Whereas this one, I met these characters just in this book. I haven't really had a lot of time with them. I don't know, you guys already heard a lot of my thoughts on this book in this video, and I felt like what I was saying, because I have already edited the video up until this point, wasn't really like conveying what I was feeling, I guess. I did enjoy this book, and the more and more that I read it, the more I went, the more I enjoyed it, and the more I felt connected to the characters. And by connected, I don't really mean like to their personal struggles and what they're personally going through, just because I am not in a point of my life where I can relate to said things, because this is like a coming of age. This is just a book that's kind of like that for people in their 20s going through things that people in their 20s go through, but specifically younger 20s. Flick, the main character, just got out of college. She's working her first post-grad job. She's going through post-grad things, and then she just went through a breakup, and then she had to meet all these new people and move in with strangers and all of those types of things. And I honestly do think I will never stop recommending this book, especially to people in their 20s. I think this book is so good, and I think that for me, I just wanted a little bit more romance. Just because I wasn't personally connected to the character's struggles, I did enjoy Flick as a character, loved the housemates, loved the guy in this book. I don't know, I feel like my rating for this is gonna be like a 3.75, and it took a while to get to like the tropes that I was like intrigued and interested by. This was a lot more of a character-based moment more towards the beginning, and then as it kept going, the plot started thickening and thickening and getting into the tropes and stuff like that. It just took a second to get going. I will recommend this though. I will recommend this probably to everybody in their 20s. This and Happy Place are kind of the 2 biggest books that I would really recommend to people in their 20s going through stuff, going through friendships, heartbreak, all of those types of things, just because these 2 books are literally, they're incomparable, but the way that they bring to light your struggles that you go through in your 20s, unmatched. This book was great, just personally not for me. I think that's what I'm trying to say. Definitely recommend picking this up, giving it a go, and seeing what you guys think, because I did enjoy it. It just like wasn't my very favorite. Now this one right here, this is a 5-star read. This is a 5-star read. I have 2 5-star reads for the month of April. Nope, for the month of March. We're still in March, Katie. Let's not move too fast, babes. This book was incredible. This book was everything. This book truly ripped out my heart and soul, and I cannot stop thinking about it. It's in a constant loop in my mind. This storyline, these characters, everything about this series is truly unmatched, and I am so scared for whenever I finish this. And I think I'm just really gonna try my hardest to hold off on finishing for as long as I can, because I just don't want it to end. I don't want it, simply, it will never end for me. There was just so much happening at all times. Like, this is a big book. This is the biggest book in the series that I've read so far, and yet there was so much content and so much going on. It was just absolute insanity. You guys just heard my thoughts on this, so I'm not gonna go like crazy into it, but I love this book. 5-star read. And I guess comparing and contrasting their ratings and stuff like that, it does kind of make sense. That's how I felt about it. I did like this one more than this one. Would I say this is the book that I would probably rate the lowest that's on my TBR, or out of all of my books? Absolutely not. 3.75 to a 4-star is still a great rating for a book, but I just personally didn't connect to it. So these are the books. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you guys enjoyed me reading these books and stuff like that. Comment down below if you have any thoughts on these, or any books you guys want me to read, anything like that. Also comment down below the queen emoji for Queen of Shadows if you watch till the end, so I know who the real ones are. Obviously don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and if you guys want to keep up with more of my daily life, follow my Instagram, TikTok, and Goodreads, especially Goodreads if you want to keep up with what I'm reading in real time. Okay, I think that's it. I hope you guys are all having a wonderful day, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys. Finish my physical TBR. Physical? Why did I say it like that? Unbelievable.
I'm sorry.
The rest of it.